Hello, everybody. My 2:30 edition of this August broadcast, which is originating from my little tiny cubbyhole studio in downtown Boca Raton. Yep, I'm back. Whew, boy, we had a fast trip to Disney right after Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was Thursday. Friday at 11 a.m. we're in our super duper Tesla. We typed in the address of the Hyatt Grand Cypress Hotel, pushed the lever down on the right side to full self-driving, and as soon as we got out of the parking garage, and off it went. It made this turn, that turn, stopped at the signs, made the right turn to get onto the Federal Highway, and then it moved over into the other lane to get, got on I-95 perfectly. It was good. The wheel was turning and spinning, and I had no feet on the pedals. I had no hands on the wheels, but I was watching carefully. And the Tesla software has it so that you can, the Tesla cameras watch you. They watch your eyes. The computer watches your eyes. And if they stay closed, it goes bang. So you're not allowed to take a nap. If you start nodding, it'll send alarms. They're nice alarms. And with a written message on the screen like, "Wake the hell up, dummy." No, but it does send alarm messages, which Marilyn was kind enough to read to me. But the interior camera is paying attention. The computer is paying attention to your eyes and your arms to make sure, because the camera is a wide-angle lens on it. So we can see from your belly button to the top of your head and over to all the other passengers in the car. It can see everybody. Or in our case, just the two of us. But particular attention to the driver to make sure, no text messaging with your phone. It knows how to watch for that and sends you nagging messages not to do it. And if you do it and you don't pay attention, the car will pull off the highway and come to a stop. And if you violate it 5 times, you won't be able to use it for a week at the service. Oh boy. Well, I was a good boy. I paid attention all the way up because I'm going to talk about it right now. And I wanted you guys to hear my glowing report, because the full self-driving worked magnificently. There was not a single event where I had to take control of it, to avoid something that it was doing that I would prefer that it wasn't doing. It actually did everything perfectly. Now, the traffic slowed up because of everybody leaving Florida to go back home, on Friday. There was a lot more cars on the road than there'd be on Thursday, obviously. So when we got near Orlando, the traffic was backed up pretty good. The software said there was an accident ahead, but we never saw any accident. There was traffic, stop and go traffic, and the computer handled all the stop and go traffic just right. I mean, what an advantage where the car, creeps up and then it stops and, keeps the proper distance between, keeps you in the lane, make sure you don't get, bump into the car in front of you. It's really magnificent. So the new software is, in my opinion, ready to be upgraded to full self-driving unsupervised, or just take the word supervised out. Full self-driving, go. It is really, quite frankly, amazing. On the way back, coming back from Orlando to Boca Raton, of course, I just went to the navigator, and you have work. You put it in the work address, and then you have home, and you put it in the home address. We did that when we got the car a year and a half ago. So I just touched home and then pressed autopilot, and whoosh, off it went. It was really quite good. We needed to get some electricity, so energy. We needed to fill up the car with some energy, so we stopped off at one of those Tesla super stations. There's a 12-stall, 250 kilowatt charging station. So we pulled into spot number 1 and plugged in, and then we walked over to, where you can get a Coke or a Pepsi or a bag of things that you shouldn't eat. So we got something and diddle-daddled around there, and then got back to the car and sat in the car for, another 10 or 15 minutes. To get enough energy to get us home. Because we were down to like 4%. We had it in the valet parking for 3, we never used the car, so for 3 days it was just parked. But you have the Sentry mode on and all that. I should have put it on low power or something so the battery lost energy over the 3-day period. So I couldn't figure out how to get they had 3 or 4 they weren't Tesla chargers, they were something point chargers, and I have an adapter for that, for the J plug that they have. So you just put that on there and then you plug it in the car. But I couldn't figure out how to get the charger to start charging. It had buttons in there, but there was no clear instructions on what to do. I scanned my card, and it seemed to accept that okay. But I couldn't see start. Like a go button or something. They had 4 red buttons, but they weren't clear on what the 4 buttons did. Anyway, so I couldn't get a charge because we were going to go over to Disney Springs, I think they call it, which is a big shopping center kind of arrangement. So Marilyn could get some goodies for her team, which she didn't do because we didn't go there. It was like we had to get a charge. I couldn't figure out. We had to fill up. We needed to fill up. Anyway, so we just came home, went to the charger, filled up, and then got some a few things to. Trying to think what we got. Oh, jeez. We failed to find proper lunch items. It was a stinky place it wasn't a good spot to get, it's a turnpike, a traditional turnpike place. And it was early in the morning, so a lot of the places where you get a burger or whatever, they weren't open yet. So the only thing you had was Dunkin' Donuts, so I ended up with a Dunkin' Donut and a thing of Coke, or Diet Coke or something. Anyway, so I munched on a donut. I was supposed to get the little chocolate pieces, but they said, well, here's your bag. I took the bag. By the time I paid and got out of the line, it wasn't the right thing. Oh boy. And I took a bite out of whatever was there, so I couldn't return that. Oh boy. So, anyway, wouldn't have been good for my blood sugar, so I didn't do it. Well, you notice here we have a 3-segment screen that I've got set up here. I found another camera so we can people complaining they couldn't see me. So now I'm hiding behind a microphone. Yeah, it's my Shure SM7B, which is the absolute best microphone that someone could have for this purpose. And all albums, where's the heck? Recents, albums, videos, selfies, pictures. I don't know, it's stupid as stupid does. And let's see what's here. No, there in there. Oh, there it is. There's a picture of there you go, there's the model number right there. SM7B. Shure. S-H-U-R-E. Microphone company. They just call themselves Shure. It has a foam thing, which you see there. I put a red thing around it just for the hell of it. Anyway, it's a fairly decent image of that. Let's get rid of, turn down the shadow a little bit. There we go. There we go. That's about it, right there. It's a dandy. You can see there's a fuller picture. I've shrunk it down a little bit so you can see the whole thing on the boom. There we go. Here's another tonight. At 5:04 p.m. is the moonrise. It'll be 99.9%. That's as full a moon as you can get. The sun is going down there and the moon is coming up there. It's like a little balancing act. Yep, sun's setting in the west and the moon is rising in the east. So look east at 5:04 and see a big moon. It's a full cold moon. That's what they call it. "15 days to the new moon." When I took this snapshot of the moon app that I have, it's 14.8 days in a 15-day full moon. The 2/10 of a day gets you to 5:04 p.m. tonight. And as you know, there it is. I took a picture of the moon. Would you believe? Let's lift up on the picture. Whoops. Not that hard, Jimmy. All right, let's get the picture back. There it is. There we go. So when you're touching you just touch the picture and lift up, and then you get this, how do I get this over here? There we go. The EXIF data. I have to hold it in the middle so you can see it, blocking the moon, but you can see I took the picture. Right in the middle it says Apple iPhone 17 Pro Max JPEG. I took it on December 2nd, 2 days ago, at 4:57 p.m. exactly, because the camera has the ability to record this information in the header of the file. And it says telephoto camera lens. I had it, ISO was really low at 32, but it was equivalent to a 722 millimeter lens, which is like 15x. Yep, f2.8, 1/639th of a second. The old iPhone camera decided for me the exposure. There you can see it. Yep. And it also shows you where I took the picture. See if we can expand on that. Whoa. The answer to that is yes. Let's get a satellite view. I don't know why it always defaults to the stupid view. So there's the moon picture, and it was taken from my balcony, right there on that building, facing this way, we're up is east. And if I use two fingers, there we go. Look at that. There's the building, the magic of Google Maps. And if we look east enough, as I fly eastward, there you go. There's the ocean. We see that there's where Palmetto Park Road, it dead ends into the beach, and there's a little pavilion thing right there. And there's the water. We can turn this around. I mean, this is like, can you believe it? It's like we're in the air in a helicopter. There's the Intercoastal Waterway. That's the bridge. Yeah. And this is where the city put in a stupid park instead of putting in a second Houston's was signed a lease. They created the lease, gave it to the city. This city screwed around with it for a couple of years, and they were going to pay him $1 million a year to use the site. And Houston's would have built their own restaurant out of pocket. City had to have no contributions, just let us use the land, give us a 20-year lease or something, because they're going to improve it with their $3 million, and it would be the only restaurant in town in Boca Raton that's on the water. All the other sites are tied up with properties. You've got to go to Fort Lauderdale to sit at a Houston's on the water. Now, the Bridge Hotel, yeah, but that's a private property. If the bridge is busy, they can shut the door. Say, sorry, if you're not a hotel guest, you can't eat in our restaurant. And that's kind of a, we got a free call from somewhere. Oh, it looks like my Publix order has been delivered. There's a picture there of not a very good picture, but it shows that my Instacart order has been delivered. So in that case, if you don't mind, I'm going to reconnect with you later today, because you see that picture right there shows, there we go, that I have it. There's my 4 gallons of distilled water, yep, and my orange juices right there. The magic of this internet stuff is crazy, isn't it? Yeah, but I have some ice pops in there and refrigerator items, so I'm going to have to pause this broadcast and come back to it, later. Maybe later this evening. Daniel's coming over. I don't know. I'll try to come on back again today. I don't know when. You never know with me. This is a 9:15 broadcast that started at 2, so or 2:30. Oh my God, I was really late. I got my Diet Pepsi here. Everything's good. Or Diet Coke. I love the Diet Coke. I had regular Coke, and I switched to Diet Coke for the sake of my blood sugar. So, and it helps, because when you take a sip of this, my blood sugar is like 108 right now. Let's take a look. There it is. Nope. It's, let's see if I can move this over. Get rid of that. I don't know why it's, oh, here it is. There it is. 113. Yeah, there's the graph. Oops. Last 8 hours, let's see. There it is. It pings like every 2 minutes. Bam, it sends another thing. I have 2 separate apps, so that I can get it on my watch, which is crazy, but I can. I touched the first one right here. There you go. You can see the same kind of a graph. it says 113. So with my watch, these 3 little rings down in the bottom here. Whoops, there we go. The first one is my blood sugar. The second one is the miles of range in the car. Can you believe that? I can see. The test is right there. It's parked. It's parked somewhere. Let's just take a fast check, see where Marilyn. She got back. Yep, she's at her office. Right there. There's GPS in the car, so we can. So if someone steals the car, we know. We call the police and say, hey, it's heading south on 995. Here's the tag number. It's a black, and it's running at 50. I can see the miles per hour. I mean, it's crazy. So, yeah, there she's parked right there in that parking spot. And there's the front door to Seacoast Bank, the world's best manager. Yep. She's got a big sign on her refrigerator saying, I'm retiring in 2027. And I wrote right in the front of there, November. See if we can get a whole year out of her in 27. Yeah. All right, there we go. Blood sugar's good. I gotta go get my groceries, and we will come back. I promise. And see, I can. There's a full screen mode of our whole thing here, but the camera's sideways, so you can't see me. I have to lean forward on. I got you can see my headphones are on, and all my Sony magnificent headphones. Anybody wants noise canceling headphones, you get the Sony, the newest model, the XM6. Yep, that's what you want. They're discounting it, like $100 from when it came out. But they are just magnificent. They have crossed, it used to be that, what is it, the Bose headphones? Had those for a few years, and the noise canceling was the best. But Sony, their sound engineers are, they've got them, and they've got a lot of high-tech people. And they came up when they came up with the XM4s. They were even with all the rest in noise canceling and sound quality and all this stuff. People that listen to concerts and, or sound aficionados. I'm just, I'm hamburger. They work good. That's, and this noise canceling is like unbelievable. There can be a fire alarm going off and you can't hear it, which, when you start smelling smoke, that's when you run.
It's 3 o'clock.
Go for the balcony. Hope for a long rope. I don't know how a building like this can catch on fire, actually. It's all like cement, for God's sakes. The only thing that burns is couches and, couches, chairs, tables. So, get your ass out on balcony and close the doors and hope for help. I don't think running down 8 flights of stairs, I don't think I could make it. I'm on the 4th floor. I need someone to pick me up. Anyway, so we had our incredibly fast trip in Disney. We spent, what was it, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Came back Monday. So we had a travel day up on Friday. We did a little something on Friday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday morning, checked out and came home. 3 nights, and we spent $800 for the, what do you call it? And then we spent $1,250 in charging stuff, you know. So it was $2,000 for 3 days, not counting the Disney tickets. That was another $210, $70 a day per person, Florida discount. So that's pretty good, right? All right, so that's it for us. We will see you later. Hopefully later today. Bye-bye.